Now coming to the predicting the direction of the reaction, equilibrium reaction. We will predict the direction of the equilibrium reaction. Suppose the equilibrium constant is given and a concentration quotient is also being given. Now what I said? Concentration quotient. What I said you? Concentration quotient is also being given to you. Denoted with the letter Q. Concentration quotient is. Now next is, what is concentration quotient? We'll understand this. Now at any stage of a particular reaction, other than the stage of chemical equilibrium, you can write down, at any stage of a reaction other than the stage of chemical equilibrium, concentration ratio as given by the expression for the law of chemical equilibrium is called concentration quotient or reaction quotient. Reaction quotient. That means at any stage, leaving behind the equilibrium stage, at any stage of the equilibrium, if you are finding out the concentration of the product by concentration of the reactant, at any stage of a particular reaction, of an equilibrium reaction, if you are finding out the ratio between the concentration of the product and the reactant, other than the equilibrium, again I repeat, then that is called as concentration quotient. We can say that. So here concentration quotient is, that is if a reaction is given like it is A to the power A, B to the power B, then C to the power C, and concentration of D to the power D, we can say that. Here the concentration quotient is given in this way, that is nothing but the concentration of the product and the reaction, the concentration of the reactant. That means, I mean to say here, there is CC plus DD, reversible sign, the reaction is AA plus BB. Now it is clear to you, this is the concentration of the product and this is the concentration of the reactant. I have taken it. Alright, any particular reaction you can take it. Now, here three things can happen. If Q is equal to K, this is your Q, concentration quotient, is equal to K, that is equilibrium constant, then the reaction is said to be in equilibrium. Alright, if Q is equal to K, then the reaction is said to be in equilibrium. Alright, if Q is greater than K and if Q is less than K, then what will happen? Now it's very interesting to understand this particular thing. See, now that is, let us say this is your Q and this is your K. This is your Q and this is your K. Now this is your Q and K. Alright. Now this is your Q now and this is your, we can still bring it a little bit so that it will be clearly. Say this is your K. The three things can happen. This is 1, this is 2 and this is your 3. We can say that. Okay, now it's clear. Now the second point I have discussed with you, if Q is equal to K, when the equilibrium constant, that is K, already we have seen it. In the last class we have seen the equilibrium constant, that is K, is equal to Q, then that is concentration quotient, then the reaction is said to be in equilibrium if Q is equal to K. Now if Q is greater than K, let us take this point number 3. If Q is greater than K, then what will happen is that to reach K, it has to come down. Isn't it? It has to come down. Q has to come down. Q has to decrease. We can say that. To reach K, to reach equilibrium constant, it has to decrease. So as to become equal to K, what will happen is that as a result, the reaction will proceed in which direction? Backward direction. Isn't it? See, here you can see very clearly that for that reason I have drawn the graph. Alright, so this building, to reach to this particular building, that is K, so it has to come down. So how will it come down? Alright, it has to decrease. How it will decrease? When the reaction will proceed in which direction? This particular reaction will proceed in backward direction, because this value will decrease. Alright, this value, how it will decrease? When this value is going to, what you can say, increase. When this is going to increase. When this is going to increase means this one, reactant. So the reaction will favor in backward direction. Alright, this value has to decrease, then only it will be equal to K. So how this will decrease? When this is less. When this is, what you can, sorry, when this is more. When this is more, then this value will be less, because inversely proportional. Na? So when this is more means the reactant has more. So how the reactant will be more? The reaction will proceed in which direction? Backward direction. So if Q is, what you can say, greater than K, here Q is greater than K, here Q is equal to K, here you can see Q is less than K. If Q is greater than K, the reaction will proceed in backward direction. Alright. If Q is less than K, now Q is less, so to reach, what you can say, K, Q has to increase. Q has to increase. Now when this will increase? When this will be less. Alright, Q when it will be more, when this will be less. So when the reactant will be less means what? The product will be more. So then the reaction will proceed in which direction? Forward direction. So when Q is less than K, the reaction will proceed in forward direction. When Q is equal to K, the reaction is equilibrium. When Q is greater than K, then the reaction will proceed in backward direction. I hope it is clear to you, this particular thing. That is the relationship between the equilibrium constant and the concentration quotient, so to say. Now, there are also certain more other factors are there which affects, may or may not affect the equilibrium of a particular reaction. We can say that. Now, we have already seen the change in concentration. That is, if the concentration of the reactant increases, then the reaction will favor in forward direction. If this concentration will increase, the reaction will favor in forward direction, definitely. The concentration of the reactant is going to increase, the reaction will favor in forward direction. If the concentration of the product is going to increase, the reaction will favor in backward direction. It's very simple. Now next is change of temperature of the system. If a reaction is, what you can say, exothermic in nature, means heat is released. If a reaction, listen carefully, if a reaction is exothermic means heat is released. So if you are providing more heat, do you think the reaction will favor in forward direction? No, it is going to favor in backward direction, because remember it, if a reaction in the forward direction is exothermic, then it is in the backward direction it is endothermic. If a reaction in the forward direction is exothermic, then it is in the backward direction it is endothermic in nature. So if you are providing heat, already it is exothermic, already heat is released. That means excess amount of heat is released, but still you are providing some more temperature, you are providing some more heat. Then do you think that more heat will be released? No. Alright, are you following my point, what I am saying you? That is, here the reaction is exothermic, this reaction, let us say, is exothermic. That means heat is released. Now if you increase the temperature, do you think more heat will be released? No. So what will happen then? The reaction will favor in backward direction, because the heat which you are giving, that will not require in the forward direction, that is required in the backward direction, because in the backward direction it is endothermic. So for that particular reason, if a reaction is exothermic, then it should be carried out at low temperature. And if a reaction is endothermic, then it should be carried out at a higher temperature. Remember it. Again I repeat, if a reaction is exothermic, heat is released, then you should carry out the particular reaction at low temperature. Low temperature should be less. And if a reaction is endothermic, then you should carry out at a high temperature. Endothermic means heat is absorbed. Definitely, if you give more amount of heat, means it will absorb gladly. So, endothermic reaction, to proceed in the forward direction, I am saying. If a reaction, if you want to proceed in the forward direction, in case of endothermic reaction, then the heat should be given. Temperature should be increased. Then on the reaction favor in forward direction. But if in an exothermic reaction, when the heat is released, and if you are giving the temperature, then the reaction not favor in forward direction, the reaction favor in backward direction. So if you want that the reaction should favor in forward direction, in case of exothermic reaction, then the temperature has to be lowered, temperature has to be less, it has to be decreased. Got it? Now, next is, what you find is that addition of catalyst. I already have told you that addition of catalyst does not affect the equilibrium of a reaction. If you don't take a catalyst, then the equilibrium will be attained at a slower rate. If you take a catalyst, then equilibrium will be attained at a faster rate. But equilibrium will attain. It will attain equilibrium. Whether you take a catalyst, whether you don't take a catalyst. So, catalyst does not alter the equilibrium of reaction. Catalyst always alters the rate of the reaction. Rate, not the equilibrium. We can say that. Now, next is pressure. Change of pressure. See, if a reaction is taking place with a decrease in volume, means number of moles is decreasing, then increase in pressure will favor the reaction in forward direction. You may note it down this one. If a reaction is taking place with a decrease in volume means with a decrease in number of moles, then increase in pressure will favor the reaction in the forward direction. Very simple. Boyle's law. Boyle's law is inversely proportional to volume. We can say that. So if pressure will be more, volume has to be less. For that reason I said if a reaction is taking place with a decrease in volume, means in the product side if the number of moles is less compared to that of the reactant, or in the product side the volume is less compared to that of the reactant, then by increasing the pressure the reaction will favor in forward direction. The reverse is true. If a reaction is taking place with an increase in volume, alright, then decrease in pressure will favor the reaction in the forward direction. If a reaction is taking place with an increase in volume, means in the product side the number of moles is more than that of the reactant, then by decreasing the pressure the reaction will favor in forward direction. We can say that. Boyle's law, remember it, inversely proportional. If volume is less in the product, then the pressure has to be more. If the volume is more in the product side compared to that of the reactant, understood, then the pressure has to be less. Next one, addition of inert gas. Now you know inert gas does not participate in the reaction. It does not participate in the reaction. Alright. So generally inert gas does not affect the equilibrium of reaction, but if you are adding the inert gas, that is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, if you are adding these inert gases, it is not going to participate. It is not going to react with the reactant. It is not going to react with the product. Nothing. But again I repeat, if the inert gas is added at constant volume, if the inert gas is added, alright, that is the reaction is taking place in a closed vessel, in a constant volume, in a closed vessel. Then the addition of an inert gas like helium, argon, krypton, even nitrogen is also inert at ordinary temperature, remember it. Alright, will not change the molar concentration of the reactant and the product. Hence the state of equilibrium will remain unaffected because the volume is constant. The volume is constant means concentration will not change because concentration is number of moles by volume. So volume is constant means number of moles is also not changing. Why? Because it is not reacting. Inert gas is not reacting. So how the number of moles is going to change? For that particular purpose, the reaction, if inert gas is added at constant volume, remember it, then the reaction, what you can say is that then the reaction will stay in equilibrium only. The reaction will not be affected. We can say that. Where the equilibrium will not be affected. But if the inert gas is added at constant pressure, alright, if the inert gas is added at constant pressure, then addition of inert gas, alright, so goes in that particular direction where there is increase in number of moles. Again I repeat, if you are adding the inert gas at constant pressure, alright, the equilibrium will shift, the reaction will shift in that particular direction where there is increase in number of moles or where there is larger number of moles. So let us say in the product side we are having 5 moles and on the reactant side we are having 2 moles. If you are adding the inert gas at constant pressure, like you are adding an helium gas at constant pressure, then the equilibrium will favor in forward direction. Because here 5 moles, here 3 moles or 2 moles, whatever it is. Alright. So in this way, when you are adding an inert gas at constant pressure, then the equilibrium is favored in that particular direction where there is increase in number of moles, larger number of moles, we can say that. Why? Because an increase in the total volume to keep the pressure constant. To keep the pressure constant, there is an increase in total volume. But here also one more thing is there. If the reaction is being taking place with no change in number of moles, means number of moles of the product is equal to that of the reactant. The product and reactant number of moles is the same. Del Ng value is 0. Change in number of moles is 0. Then there is no change in the number of moles. Therefore, there is no effect of addition of inert gas under this particular condition. No effect in what? No effect in equilibrium. There is no change in equilibrium. Alright, there is no change in equilibrium when you are adding inert gas. Alright, when the number of moles on the reactant and the product side is the same, that is change in number of moles is 0. Alright, so this is about the, what you can say, factors which is affecting the equilibrium of a particular reaction, so to say. Thank you.